Hey guys, what's up? It's TF Now. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Star Wars The Black Series, Walgreens exclusive Star Wars Attack of the Clones, Phase 1 Clone Trooper Lieutenant. I was traveling for my job recently and had to make a Walgreens stop, and I found this figure there. I actually found a couple of them at the Walgreens I went to. Relatively not super easy Walgreens exclusive to find. I think later on it might get a little bit easier, but it's definitely, for me, not as hard to find as maybe Silver Centurion. But anyway, it's really cool to get Phase 1 clones again. It's been years since we've had any Phase 1 clone troopers. I do wish we had the newer Camino Trooper body with this guy. Maybe a retooled head as well. Maybe in the future we'll get a redone Phase 1 clone. But again, it's just nice to have some Phase 1 clones. This is a pretty nice color scheme too. So let's go ahead and just talk about the packaging. I really like what they're doing with the packaging now with the Black Series line. It says Star Wars The Black Series on the top there. You have the figure in the box as well as the weapons that he comes with. The backdrop is a little plain, but I think that's fine. I'm going to be taking out the box anyway. As you can see, it says Star Wars Attack of the Clones, where it has that really nice red right there. It says Phase 1 Clone Trooper Lieutenant, a warning sign, ages 4 and up, and the Hasbro logo. On this side, there really isn't much going on here. It's just this red sash right there, and it says Star Wars The Black Series. But when you look right here, this is this really awesome artwork that has this nice gray on the top and then a contrast with this nice red towards the bottom. The clone trooper here in this image looks really awesome. And we look towards the bottom here, it just says Phase 1 Clone Trooper Lieutenant. There really isn't much going on at the top of the packaging. It's this window box for light to shine through, which is a pretty cool idea. When we look towards the back of the packaging, you have that same image of that clone trooper from the side on the back here. And then we have some multilingual read-ups of the Clone Trooper Lieutenant. Look towards the bottom of this side of the packaging. There's not much going on here. It's just multilingual warnings and other things that if you understand these languages, you can go ahead and read those. And then we look towards the bottom there. There's not much going on except for a barcode in case you need it. So let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So here's the figure out of the packaging, and I don't really know what I was expecting. It's the same body as, the previous Phase 1 Clone Troopers, so the problems that I have with those in the past is relevant here. I just wish, since we have the new Phase 1 Clone Trooper body, that we would get it with here. I mean, it works for Phase 1 and Phase 2 clones with that new body, because we're getting a new Phase 1 clone, and I just wish they implemented that new body with this here. But, I mean, we have a Clone Trooper Lieutenant. We don't get very many Phase 1 clones in the Black Series line nowadays. So let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, and then we'll take a closer look at the figure. So whenever we get a clone trooper, usually we will get a long blaster rifle, as you can see here, just sculpted the same way that we usually get it before. The sculpting is pretty nice, I will admit. There's not much they can change about it. It's just molded in a black plastic, so there's really no paint, which is a little disappointing. I completely dropped that. Now we have the regular blaster here for clone troopers, and this is the same, again, same molding as before. Nothing new here. I wish there was some actual paint. It's just molded in this black here, but again, there's not much you can change with the sculpt here, because I think that one and done, they've done a really good job sculpting both the weapons to look very accurate, and there's not much changing that they need, but any kind of, paint would really go a long way. Even like a little bit of silver, or just molded in a different plastic to make it look a little bit better. Sometimes the flat black is just a little plain. So what are my negatives about this? Well, I mean, detail-wise, I don't think those, details are bad. I don't think the mold is bad itself. I just think that the ways that they implemented articulation in the past with this were not great. I thought that they did a much better job with the new one, and that's why I'm a little disappointed with it. One good thing about it, though, is the paint. The paint for the blue is really clean. I know it looks like there's some white splotching, but that's how it's supposed to look. They did a very good job. If there was like green or red or purple on here, then I'd be mad. But the fact that they did it really... I'm pretty sure the ones I've seen it looks like this. I'm pretty sure that's on purpose. But the way that they made this look with all that, somewhat of, uneven blue is just really clean. Head sculpt was always pretty good to begin with. I do think they're retooling the new head sculpt. Hopefully this head sculpt, if you wanted to, could fit on the new body. I have yet to try that, but I don't think that's going to be a thing because of that the way that body has the neck where it has the the head sculpt underneath, the soft helmet there. I don't think it's going to work. With this, it's the traditional one where there is just, this entire one piece covering the neck. Chest was always pretty cool. I don't know what's going on here. If there's some dirt or something in the chest, in the little, like, the waist right there. These little pouches have always been clean. They did a really good job printing the circles right there. I really like the blue that they chose. It looks really good. Then the back here, I will try to find my new Camino Clone Trooper to compare the bodies because I cannot find those right now. I have one of them. So the inside of the legs again are the same as before. You'd see some lines going on the black there. I'm not really talking much about the body because again we've gotten this for years with certain figures, with certain clones over the years. Sometimes it would be different based on a commander, but most of the time if it was just a normal clone trooper, it'd be the same. But what I forgot to mention that I want to talk about is this nice little piece right here on the arms. I don't know if there's some kind of communicator. I believe it is. I don't know if it's on the other side. The hands have some nice sculpting too. Elbows look a little weird just because they don't want to sit super nicely downward, It's not the most natural looking. But they did do a good job with the upper legs. The knees on camera right here don't look like the same kind of plastic or color, really, as this. Now, it's a little bit better here, but it's kind of weird. I think it might have been molded in black and they painted white. I think that's what they did. Then we have the shins. The shoes, I think, might have been continued in the new one. I don't think they might have changed the shoes. I don't know. But one thing I don't like is the back here covering the, the heel, or, basically just the ankle. So that way you can't really get a good down, unlike with the new one. So I know I keep talking about the new body. Me personally, again, I just think they did a good job with the new body. But this old body isn't the worst thing. It was originally really good for what it was. Some people still prefer it over the new one, and I think that's fine. Again, me personally, I just like the new one. But this is a 360 if you wanted it. And the articulation is pretty basic, like with the previous clone troopers. Maybe I should back out just a little bit more. Head has problems going up. Down is actually really good. Side to side is fine. Now, I'm going to be careful with this one because it's starting to chip a little. But one thing I do like is that we actually got some room now. Usually these would get in the way of the shoulders, but I think they might have sculpted a little bit inward to where you can actually get in the shoulder pad in there so you can get more range of motion. Or it could have always been like that and I'm just dumb and I never realized. I'm pretty sure that most of the time I've had trouble with the shoulders on these guys. Upper arm swivel, we do get a double jointed elbow, but because there's this big thing getting in the way, it just only goes at 90. This has a swivel and a hinge inward, outward. This has a hinge up and down. You have a ball jointed waist that goes all the way around. Forward and back is not very good. Legs can go forward that much, and they're very stiff. In and out. The legs don't want to go back at all. That's the upper thigh swivel. We do get the double jointed knee, which can bend okay. The down of the foot is not great, even as much as I try to bend it. Try to work around the problem here, and it could get a little bit better. Hey, there we go. You just have to twist around a little bit, and there's that. And then the forward's fine, and then you have the ankle rocker.
And just as a quick comparison, kind of like what I did for the review of this guy here on the left, you could just see very much the differences in the body. I just think that the proportions are better. After thinking about it, I think some people have a problem with this body. Not everybody, of course. Some people have a problem with this body because the helmet kind of looks a little too animated. It's not really more realistic, like they were in the film here. But I think it looks fine. I think it blends in fine, And the body mold here, to me, is just better. It looks more natural. And the movement, also, the articulation is good on this guy compared to this one here. But, to each their own. If you like this body more, I think that's fine.
And for some quick comparisons from left to right, we have the regular clone trooper, the sergeant. I think this is the correct ranking, so let me know down in the comments if I did it wrong. lieutenant in the middle, and then we have the captain, and on the far right, we have the commander. I think all 5 of these are looking pretty good next to each other, and eventually when I have somewhere to display my clone troopers and the rest of my figures, I'll have a clone trooper display with these guys in them. Now for some quick size comparisons with just a couple figures, we have the Black Series Kit Fisto on the left and the Count Dooku on the right, and then we have the Marvel Legends Stan Lee on the left and the new movie Deadpool Marvel Legends figure on the right. So to end this review, I have a couple of images of the figure with his accessories as well as other Black Series figures. Overall, the figure is fine. It's not super awful. It's just, I really like the new body for Clone Troopers just more. I think it just makes me kind of not super excited for this figure, to be quite honest. In previous Clone Troopers, the bodies just weren't very fun to pose around, and you really couldn't get them in the greatest poses. At least I couldn't, you know. Shooting poses because the elbows get in the way is kind of annoying, but also neutral poses because his arms don't want to go all the way down isn't great either. Now, that doesn't mean that the new body is perfect completely, you know, but it's just, I wish we do have the new body for this, but we're getting it for the new Phase 1 Clone Troopers. Eventually, I'm hoping that we're just getting more Clone Troopers. Honestly, whether it be the previous body or the new body, Clone Troopers to me is super welcome in the Black Series because we don't get them very often. So, a $20 figure at Walgreens only. I think it's actually relatively easy to get online, so I'll leave the link down in the description below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the video, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends, and I will see you guys later.